Right then, back to wheel clamps. Like most annoying things, wheel clamps came from America. This year sees the 20th anniversary of them arriving in the UK, but we won't be celebrating. We know that they act as deterrents to keep roads clear for emergency services, yada yada yada, but it's the cowboy clampers who leave a nasty taste in the mouth. The punishments they dish out don't fit the crime. A few seconds infringement can lead to fines of up to 350 quid. Such extortionate fees are because of this document, the rulebook for clampers. It's totally empty. There are no regulations whatsoever and won't be for another year until licensing is introduced. So clampers are making hay while the sun shines. They've got 12 months left of charging what they want and demanding payment on the spot. Now, there's nothing illegal about clamping, but what we object to is overzealous behaviour. It's just not cricket. On our travels, we've heard all sorts. They've clamped people posting letters, Samaritans at the scene of an accident, and even a hearse that was, full. Our first clamping capital, though, redefines keenness. The clampers here bagged themselves a post van. Welcome to Dorchester. This is the epicentre of local tension, Somerleigh Road. Setting up a clamping operation was easy. Anyone could have done it. First of all, you buy a clamp. Ta-da! Then you ask the landowner's permission to clamp on his ground. Hi, hello there. I was wondering, can I possibly have permission, please, to clamp on your ground? Sometimes they take a bit of persuading. You could have a cut of the profits. Then just think of a number and double it. Shall we set the fine at £200? Then all you have to do is lie in wait for unwary motorists, safe in the knowledge that the police can't touch you. It's private ground, so any disputes are a civil matter. There are plenty of disputes around Somerleigh Road. Adrian Wright fell foul the first day clamping started. Adrian, can you tell me exactly what happened with you?
Well, on the day in question, I came down here, my lunch break. I was going to buy a paper down there and get a little sandwich shop up there.
Yep.
And I saw there was a parking space here. I drove in here, probably about here, precisely, I would say. And I parked here. There was no yellow lines, nothing to indicate that you couldn't park. I did see, however, warning clamping signs in front of this cobbled area, and I assumed that related to this whole area here. Bought a paper, and when I walked back up here, some guy who was hovering around my car came up to me and said, "Is this your car, sir?" And I said, "Yeah," and he says, "Well, it's clamped."
Well, how did you know it was your car?
From what I learnt later, they were hiding around the corner there, and he presumably saw me park, saw me walk off, quickly clamped it, and when I walked back, which was probably 2 or 3 minutes later, it was clamped, and he demanded £100.
And what, so did you give it to him, or what did you do?
I said, "Could you take a cheque?" And he said, "No." "Do you take a credit card?" "No." "Do you take a cheque with a card, your bank guarantee card?" "No." "I haven't got £100 on me." And he says, "Well, there's lots of machines around, aren't there?" Or something sarcastic like that.
Adrian coughed up the cash, but you can understand his gripe. People often park there. The yellow lines come to a stop, and private road was only added a week later. We managed to speak to the owner of the clamping firm, who said the warning signs were adequate and Mr. Wright parked next to a clamped car, so should have realised anyway. Adrian tells us he didn't see the clamp. "If I see sharks, I don't go swimming." The dispute continues. To get the residents' perspective on Somerleigh Road, I spoke to Franz Atkinson.
Well, actually, I don't really agree with what's happened on this estate. On the first day when the clampers were here, I stood on the road and told people not to park here. The clampers got wind of the fact that I was here and threatened to sue me for loss of earnings, and also threatened me and said if I had a vehicle that I'd better watch out, I'd be the next one to be clamped if my permit fell off. A lot of the residents like the fact that the road is completely clear of cars. As a family person, I look down here and to me, it looks like a ghost town. It doesn't look like a place where families live. It looks like the Pied Piper's been here and removed all the children and all the vehicles.
So here I am in the middle of the clamping zone, and there are loads of tales to tell. One, a local journalist, well, she was threatened by the clampers to have her camera smashed because she was caught taking pictures. Another woman, she was brought to tears when her car was towed away to Yeovil. She makes it to Yeovil, she has the money to have her car released, only to find that the compound is closed. She's stranded in Yeovil. And there are reports that delivery men don't want to deliver down here because they're afraid that they will get clamped. A rather artistic resident has been driven to put brush to canvas depicting the troubles of Somerleigh Road, but we can report a small success. Lovely Colin Davis was clamped whilst fetching a parking permit from his friend. The clampers have promised us they'll look at refunding him. Hurrah! Now, overzealous clamping can be pretty hard to stomach, but the people doing it can also be pretty unsavoury. Now, I have notes here saying an NHS trust fired its clamping company when it realised that the clamping company was recruiting staff from Brixton Prison. But the good old Scots don't stand for any of this nonsense. Wheel clamping north of the border is illegal, following a case in 1992 when the judge said that clamping amounted to extortion and theft. Join us in a moment when we'll reveal what the clampers want to keep secret, the ways you can break free. If you're one of the many people who hate paying wheel clampers any money, you'll want to know how not to. So here's our essential guide. Firstly, always check the clampers have the landowner's permission to operate. Without that, it's a jailable offence of obtaining money by deception. Secondly, if the warning signs are difficult to see, take photos and complain to the Small Claims Court. This firm was prosecuted for failing to display proper signs. But beware, if the signs are clearly posted and you read them, that's tantamount to agreeing to a contract to be clamped. Thirdly, if you get nobbled by one of these smaller devices, just try driving off. It's against the law, but you may be willing to take the risk in a bid for freedom. Beware of scratched wheels, though. For some even naughtier techniques, we went to the secret headquarters of an anti-clamping website run by a man known only as Alf. He gets loads of correspondence from angry clampees who freed themselves, and he now knows every trick in the book, even if they're not actually legal.
The weakest link on any of these is always the padlock. What we encourage people to do is always carry something in the boot that's going to get these off. You know, like a hacksaw, a couple of quid, hammer and chisel. What you need to do is always hit down. That padlock will always be exposed, always. Just place it on there, hold it tight, quick tap. That'll come off. Bolt croppers are the best.
Do you know what? Just so happens that I always carry a pair with me. I'd like to do it because I like to feel powerful.
See, just put that on there like that.
Job done.
Sorted.
Simple as that. For some of them, Alf showed me that you don't even need tools, just brute force. Letting some air out of the tyres makes life much easier. I did it, and I've only got one tiny scratched knuckle. For the real tough ones, though, you need to get serious. Now, what we're about to show you should never be performed on a local authority's clamp. They're much more likely to sue for criminal damage than a cowboy clamper. By all means, take the risk if you've been caught on private ground, though. A court sided with a man earlier this year who forcibly removed his clamp because he successfully argued that he hadn't consented to being clamped. What a result. And if you don't carry an angle grinder, don't worry. We know a man who does. Angle Grinder Man is, for real, removing, on average, 5 clamps a week. And he's never been caught.
I'm definitely more concerned with what's moral than with what's legal. Clamping fines are nothing more than an unfair tax levied on people who are forced into breaking the law on a regular basis because we haven't got enough parking spaces. I'm only a phone call away.
So, freshly empowered, join us in a moment when we reveal the UK's worst clampers. Our clamping crusade ends in the heart of Bronte country. The picturesque village of Haworth in West Yorkshire is a centre of innocent tourism. But look behind the green gauge jam and you realise the genteel locals are gripped by fear of the Haworth Clamping Company. The menace in a grey escort van. Winners of the RAC Foundation's Dick Turpin Award for the UK's worst clampers. The RAC received 4 times as many complaints about this company as any other, and within minutes of arriving, we saw the boys in action. A desolate car park, just 10 minutes overtime, and a 1-week-old Mazda RX-8 grows an unwanted accessory. These clampers you're looking at are employed by the elusive Ted Evans. We managed to get a number for him, but he refused to appear, although did reveal a few things. We asked why he gives no dispensation to disabled people. He told us if they can afford an expensive car, they can afford 60p to park it. We asked why he took Marks and Spencer's vouchers from an old lady in lieu of payment. He told us she hadn't got any money and offered those instead. We asked why he clamped someone who fell asleep in their car. He told us the clampers didn't notice the gentleman, although the snoozer did eventually get refunded. Mr. Evans's responses all seemed fairly polished, but when we tried to speak to the clampers themselves about their alleged heavy-handed tactics, well, they didn't seem to hear us.
Excuse me. Excuse me, sir. Hello? Sir? Could you just ask a couple of questions? Could we just ask a couple of questions, please? Hello? Hello? Could we just ask a couple of questions? I think that's a no comment.
The natives say that clamping is having an adverse effect on tourism, and local shops have taken to putting warnings up. The Haworth clampers seem to clamp constantly and are ruining the atmosphere of a beautiful bit of Britain. We're still 12 months away from licensing being introduced for clampers, but that may not solve the problem. Theory goes that cowboy clampers will simply migrate to the next nearest unregulated industry, towing away. In the meantime, if you do get caught, don't take it lying down. Let's roll.